Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh and good morning. I'm Dr. Sabah Bau from the Physics Section Pusat Pengajian Pendidikan Jarak Jauh, University Science Malaysia. This is course JIF 318 Quantum Mechanics. We are in chapter 3, the Schrödinger equation. This segment, unit 3.6, is on the meaning of the wave function capital Psi. The objective of this lesson is basically to investigate the meaning of the wave function psi. We had derived the Schrödinger equation which describes the behavior of psi associated with a particle moving in a potential V in the previous segment. The question is, what does psi tell us about the physical behavior of the particle? So we solve the Schrödinger equation and get the value of psi, capital Psi. So what does psi mean? The interpretation of psi was provided by Max Born. Psi is complex, okay, we agree to that. So it cannot by itself represent a physically measurable quantity. It cannot by itself represent a physically measurable quantity. Physically measurable quantities such as distance, position, momentum, and so on and so forth. Okay, so psi is complex. It is a complex number. In its solution, it involves exponential with complex numbers, and even the constant can be a complex number. So psi itself does not really mean anything. But psi squared, which is defined as the complex psi, complex conjugate psi, multiplied by psi, which is always a real number. So if you square the psi, the wave function, or you multiply it between the wave function itself and its complex conjugate, it always give you a real number, which give the probability per unit volume. If you're talking about 3D, if in 1D, per unit length given down here. So it is the probability of finding the particle at the position R at the time t. So when we have psi, the wave function psi, by itself, it does not really mean anything much because it's complex in no relation to physically measurable quantity. But when you square it or multiply by its own complex conjugate, it gives you the probability of finding the particle at the position R at the time t. So as the consequences, abandonment of one of the basic ideas of classical mechanics, a particle no longer has a definite position in space. That's the implication of the Schrödinger equation. Remember that when we discussed the Bohr's postulates of hydrogen atom, he used the old quantum physics basically to quantize the energy level, but the problem is that the energy level is fixed at certain position. So when we study quantum mechanics using Schrödinger equation, one of the consequences of the wave function capital Psi is that we have to abandon the idea of a particle has a definite position in space. Okay, in fact, when we use psi squared, a particle, it gives you the probability rather than the specific position of a particle. Psi is used to calculate the probability of finding the particle in a given region of space. Yeah, that is by squaring it or by multiplying it with its own complex conjugate. Example, consider the psi derived for a particle in an infinite square well. We had discussed in the previous segment, and we have the solution of psi, capital Psi, A sine pi x per a exponent negative I h bar pi squared t per 2ma squared for x between 0 and a, that means inside the square well potential, while psi, capital Psi, or the wave function is 0 outside of the well. This solution satisfies the Schrödinger equation for an arbitrary value of a. That means a is a constant here, or a coefficient. So for any a, then basically this solution or the wave function capital Psi satisfy the Schrödinger equation. If capital Psi is any solution of Schrödinger equation, then we have this property previously. C psi is also a solution for any complex C. That means if you have this Schrödinger equation here, you multiply with C for each term. Here we have C, here C. The C can go into the differential, or the vice versa. If you have C in the differential, you can bring it out. So A, that means the constant A, cannot be determined from Schrödinger equation alone. That means from here, you cannot determine A. That means the coefficient or the constant at the beginning of the wave function solution. Okay. So A can be determined from the definition of probability. That means the constant A in front of the wave function solution cannot be determined from here, from the Schrödinger equation alone, but it can be determined from the definition of what we call as probability density. That means from the square of psi, or the multiplication of psi conjugate and psi. Okay. So remember that in complex conjugate, all symbol of I will change its sign. Okay, it tanda ini, because I indicates imaginary. When you conjugate it, basically it goes. For example, if the original one have a negative sign here, negative I, then when you conjugate it, become positive I. Okay. While A, it is a constant, but that constant can be a complex number too. So for A, we just put the star there, indicating that it is A conjugate. When you multiply the two terms in the brackets, basically A conjugate multiplied by A is equal to the magnitude of A squared. That means we double, or should I say, we squared the A's. And sine, again sine here, we have the same term, sine pi x over A, sine pi x over A. So we have sine squared pi x over A. The exponent here basically will give you 1, because basically when you multiply exponent, the power or the term of the exponent should be added. So now you have positive on the first term, and you have negative the same in the second term, and they contain the same what you call it, formula. So basically, exponent positive something something multiplied by exponent negative something something. Basically, you subtract the power of exponent here, and then it give you 0. Okay, exponent 0 is actually 1. Okay, that's why there is no more exponent. For x between O and A and psi conjugate multiplied by psi equal to 0 for x outside of this. Okay, this is the formula here is basically for x inside, or the particle inside the square potential well. Outside this range, psi conjugate multiplied by psi equal to 0. Okay. So when we determine the probability density here, So basically we are left with a squared, magnitude of a squared, sine squared pi x per a. So time t has dropped out. No more t here. Time t. So probability density is independent of time. From this we can show that, or we can prove that probability density is independent of time. The term t containing the t in the exponent basically vanishes. Okay. Normalization. When we add another requirement for the psi squared or psi conjugate multiplied by psi for a volume here, d3 d to the power of 3 r cubed basically is the differential for volume, and you integrate it and it is equal to 1, where the integral is taken over all space. That means the integral, you take it from all space from negative infinity to infinity, okay, or in the square well potential basically it's between 0 and a, because outside of this region, outside of the square well potential, the psi conjugate multiplied with psi is 0 as stated in the previous slide. If you equate this to 1, so basically it's called, the wave function is said to be normalized. Why equal to 1? Usually why we put it 1? Because this integration represent one particle in space. Okay. For example, if we have a wave function from infinity, negative infinity to infinity, we integrate it. When we say that equal to 1, that means we expect to find one particle in this region. Or even if inside the square well potential from 0 to a, we integrate it and if we equate it to 1, that means we expect to find one particle in that particular region between 0 and a. For the infinite square well wave function, okay, we revisit this again. Then we have this. Then now you can see that the integration is from 0 to a, because the integration is valid for the region inside the square well potential. Outside of the square well potential, basically psi conjugate multiplied by psi is equal to 0, as we had stated a few slides back. Okay, so we integrate the a squared sine squared per inside the bracket pi x divided by a dx equal to 1. We normalize. We expect to find one particle here. I write down here, try solving this. It is good exercise if you try to solve this into this. So how to get there? Okay. If you look in the, what do you call it, useful mathematics sheet with which I had uploaded to the, which I have uploaded to the e-portal, you'll find that basically there is no integration for sine squared. In other words, we have to convert this just into sine or cosine. So there is a relationship between sine squared and the term of sine and cosine. Try this out, okay? And the integration will give you, of course, the a squared here is magnitude. There is no x term there. You can bring it out from the integration. Then you just integrate the sine squared pi x per a. But again, you cannot integrate sine squared. You need to convert it into sine or cosine. There is a relationship in the useful mathematics sheet. Okay, and give you a per 2 equal to 1, because we normalize it. And rearranging, we have a equal to third or square root 2 per a. And from here, actually, the constant a can be determined, okay, by using the normalized probability density of the wave function. Okay, so we can determine a. If a is a positive real number, okay, it shows that of course, when you have square root, you have positive and negative. So we can have a real function if a is positive. Okay, that means positive set 2 per a, or whatever values inside the square root. So our normalized wave function psi, now you can replace a with its value set 2 per a sine whatever blah 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 for the wave function capital psi. This is for the region inside the square well potential. Okay, and how it looks like, I mean, how we can imagine about this value a and so on and so forth. Okay, if we plot a graph of capital psi, that means the wave function against x, and the region is from 0 to a, we can plot this graph. The graph look like this, okay, between 0 and a, because the wall of the square well potential is at 0 and a. So the wave function equation here is valid inside the square well. That means this. Okay, and a basically is the highest point. Capital A is the highest point. That means set 2 per a. Small a here is actually the width of the square well. Okay, from 0 to a. So this is the highest point. Okay, even from the graph you can see that sign will always change from 0 to 1, and of course negative 1 if we take real values. So from 0 to 1, the maximum is 1. So if the maximum value of sine is 1, you multiply it with the constant capital A, which is equal to square root 2 per small a. So this is the highest point. It is at the center between the position of 0 and a here. Okay, so we solve the wave function capital psi, including the value of a, capital A, that means the value of the constant. Okay, please take note, we could have taken, just now we said that if a is real. So what about if we take the negative? Because square root, you have positive and negative. Just now we said that you take a, capital A, for positive to get a real value. You could have taken a as negative too. Why not? Furthermore, a can be any complex numbers in the form of a equal to exponent I theta square root 2 per a. So a can be any complex number. Question, which value of a do we choose? Is it the positive one or negative one? Actually, it doesn't matter, because all observable quantities depend only on a squared. So even if you take the negative value, you square it, it becomes positive. Okay, so all observable quantities depend only on a squared, not on a itself. So the observable quantities which measure in quantum mechanics depends on a squared. So it doesn't matter whether the value of a we take as positive or negative. Any value of a will give the same prediction, because we use a squared rather than just a. So remember that even the wave function itself, the capital psi, if it is on its own, it's almost meaningless. Tell us not much, nothing actually. But when you square it or you multiply it with complex conjugate, only then it gives you probability density. The same thing with the constant a. If a itself, it does not really tell us much except that the maximum point, the amplitude, okay, of the wave. But basically, to get the solution of the wave function, it depends on a squared other than just capital A. Okay. Hence, the probability of finding the particle in some region is simply the integral of the wave function and wave function conjugate over that region. Here is an example. to find the probability of finding a particle at a particular location. Again, from 0 to A, this is the square well potential region. Okay. Consider a particle described by the wave function we had derived just now. Capital psi square root 2 per A sine pi x per A, and so on and so forth for whatever is inside the region inside the square well potential. The question, what is the probability of, that means P, probability where x, that means our variable, is less than epsilon. Epsilon is a point between 0 and E. That means in this region. Less than x less than epsilon, that the particle lies within a distance epsilon of the left hand wall, that means from 0 of the square well, with epsilon much smaller than A. Okay, so A is the total distance or the space between the walls of the square well potential. We try to determine the probability of finding a particle in a region from 0 to epsilon. Okay. The probability is given by, of course, we just multiply the conjugate and with the conjugate of the wave function and the wave function itself. Okay. Now we integrate. The integration is from 0, that means from the left wall to a point epsilon, okay, where epsilon is lesser than A. And again, when you integrate, you have sine squared here. Just now I said you must try this, but here I give you the trigonometry relationship between squared, sine squared, and cos. Of course, you have this cos 2. Actually, it started from the general formula cos u plus b equal to cos u cos b minus sin u sin b. But since u is equal to b, so 2u plus b equal to 2u, and so on and so forth. You get sine squared here can be represented by a cos term here, 1 minus cos 2u divided by 2. So again, you try this one out, how to get to this. Okay, when you integrate, of course the 2 per A constant can be brought out of the integration, but when you integrate, there are two parts here. There is a 1 here, and of course here 2 is also a number can be brought out of the integration. You integrate the first one, of course it gives you the value of x. Okay, x, and when you give or subtract it, it becomes epsilon, and so on and so forth. A is there, then we multiply, we have the first term epsilon per A minus then the second term containing cos. When you integrate cos, it gives you sine, and of course again you can look how to integrate sine and cosine in the useful mathematics sheet which I had given you. So in the limit of, given that epsilon is much smaller than A, we can use sine series because we have sine here. Okay, the term for the sine can be replaced by a series here. Again, you can look in the useful mathematics. Sine x equal to x, this is the sine series, minus x cubed divided by factorial 3 plus x pi divided by factorial 5, and so on and so forth. Since epsilon is much smaller than A, anything usually anything greater than x to the power 5 is very small because epsilon is small. So if you put epsilon here to the power of 5, become much less smaller when it is divided by the factorial. Factorial usually give you big numbers. For example, like factorial 5, that means 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 1. Okay, so the starting from the third term to the right, it is too small already, so that's why we put here more or less equal to. That means the values are not significant after that. Okay. So what about here? Why we have only one term here? Because here x is basically, if you refer to this, is 2 pi per epsilon per a. Okay. So if you have 2 pi epsilon per a, you multiply with 1 over 2 pi. 2 pi basically cancel out. So the first term is just epsilon a. And here we have epsilon a. Epsilon a minus epsilon a for the first term equal to 0. Therefore, the first term is not present here. What is available is only the second term from the sine series. Okay? You can try to redo this calculation or mathematical operation in order to understand more. That's why we have here power of 3. That's mean only the second term is available for epsilon much lesser than a. In conclusion, the wave function capital psi by itself does not have any real observable meaning, but psi squared gives the probability of finding a particular particle. Probability of what? Finding a particular particle in a region of space. That's why when we normalize the psi squared relationship, that means the integration of psi squared, when we normalize it, we put it equal to 1. Okay, that's mean the probability of finding one particle. Thank you very much for your attention.